Hey guys, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a first impressions video for you. Today we have a fixed blade that I have actually been waiting for like 2 years. And that may seem a little bit crazy to be that excited about a fairly budget-friendly, overseas produced fixed blade, but this is the Maverick Customs Harpoon. And it's actually been a while back that I initially saw the custom version of this little fixed blade and was really, really impressed with it. I think someone on Canadian Knife and Gear actually had one or shared something about it, and that's where I first learned about it. But I was really impressed with the design, began following Maverick Customs at that time, and was really interested in getting one of these. And I never have had a custom version, but shortly after first learning about them, there was a post that there was going to be a production version, that Kizer had picked up the Harpoon and was going to do a production version of it. And since that time, I've been sort of bugging Kizer about when the knife was going to be available. And ultimately they came out, and I kind of missed the initial release, so I'm a little late to the party on this, although there's not much out there on YouTube, which is really surprising because these were really, really popular. The first run that came out when they were available at a few different retailers, like they all sold out almost immediately. So I had to wait till the second run, and now I ended up finally being able to get one from White Mountain Knives. Huge thank you to Justin for that. And I will put a link to White Mountain Knives down below. You can use my discount code. I believe they still have some in stock, so you can save yourself 10%. I will put a couple of other links down there as well to my Amazon store as well as to Southern Edge Knife Works. I don't think you're going to get this at either of those places, but it doesn't hurt to just share those links anyway, because it does help the channel when you use them, and it gives you a few options. So finally, the Harpoon was released. I actually did handle one a while back. I put a very short video, I believe, on my handling of this last year at Blade Show, and I was pretty impressed back then. And I've got to say, now that I actually have one and can get it in hand and can kind of experience it a little bit, overall, I am pretty impressed with this. Now, there are a couple things we'll have to see what happens as time goes on. Remember, this is just a first impressions, but let's start off here with a quick rundown, okay, of kind of what we're dealing with. Of course, the first thing is it's the Maverick Customs Harpoon design, which is a beautiful design. It's done in 1095 steel, which is an interesting choice. You don't normally think of it as an EDC steel, but the idea, at least the marketing, is that this can function also sort of as an outdoor use blade. It's a very thin grind, nice high flat grind. I could see this being really good for slicing type of tasks. Pretty fine point up here along with a swedge at the top. So piercing type of work, it looks like it's going to do a pretty decent job as well. Now, I know for lots of us who want an EDC fixed blade, we'd like to have various steel choices here, and I don't know what maybe there will never be any, but wow, anyway, this has already got me thinking. This design is so nice and it feels so good in hand that if the 1095 proves to not be that great, and right now I don't know, okay, I'm hoping it works out really well, that it's pretty, they've taken it to the harder side of 1095 because, it's a fairly fine blade. So I don't see toughness as being something you have to emphasize here. Anyway, really, really nice. In terms of the grind and the overall design, especially like this little thumb rest here, very, very well done. You can see the blade label there, 1095, and over on this side, you can see the Maverick Customs Harpoon. Move down to the handle and look at that handle. This beautiful, beautiful micarta handle that's so nice and feels great in hand. It really, really does. Obviously, I haven't had a chance to cut anything with this or anything, so all I can really tell you is how it feels in hand, which is good. All right, and then moving over here to the Kydex sheath. So Kydex sheath, very, very welcome. Sort of a taco style sheath. I've seen these before. You see how the blade kind of slides in that way, so you kind of got to get the blade in the right spot. and then it pops in well. There's a little bit of wiggle here, but really, really good retention. It's the two strap method, and we've seen a few of these before. It's not my favorite method because I feel like it makes the knife, kind of loosey-goosey on your belt, but it does give a lot of variety, so I understand the value that way. By the way, these straps are just sort of nylon straps here, okay? So they've obviously saved a little bit of money on that. Now, this is a really, really budget-friendly knife, so you knew they were going to cut some corners somewhere. I think an easy upgrade would be to change these out for some leather straps. Nice thumb ramp there to extract the knife from the sheath. I really like that touch. Okay, and so that's a quick rundown of what this is made out of and what you're actually getting. Size and weight on this is the next thing I'll share with you, and this I think is really, really nice. So this knife is 7 3/4 inches overall, so it's fairly small. It's going to carry very unobtrusively. If you're looking for a good EDC fixed blade, I think this size is pretty well right where you want to be. 3 7/8 on the blade though. So almost a 4-inch blade on this knife, which is really, really impressive. The handle here itself is about 3 3/4 inches, and the grip area, so you can see where my index finger is there. I do have a full 4-finger grip. It's just barely there though. It's about 3.5 inches, okay? Now the knife itself weighs 4.2 ounces, but that really doesn't matter since no one's carrying just the knife itself. So with the sheath and the knife combined, it's 5.9 ounces, so just under 6 ounces. Now, of course, the thing we have to point out here is because you're going to be carrying this on a belt, that really, I don't know, maybe I'm totally crazy here, but I find if I'm carrying on a belt, I don't notice the weight nearly as much as I do if I'm carrying in pocket. All right. And by the way, 6 ounces is not a big deal even if you were carrying in pocket. And I have done that. Okay. This sheath, I will say, because it's so sort of minimal, you can just drop this whole thing in your front right pocket and it works just fine. All right. So what are my initial thoughts on this? My initial thoughts are I love the design. Absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous knife. The custom, of course, is equally beautiful and of course is available in a few more options. I will put a link to Maverick Customs Facebook page because if you really wanted a custom, that's pretty well where you have to go to get one. I do like the implementation that Kizer has done. I've got some questions about the 1095 steel. I don't think that's the choice I would have gone, certainly not for an EDC knife. However, all right, there's, in S35VN, the cost probably would have been significantly more. And so I don't know. I will say this, if you're watching this, Kizer, if anyone from Kizer is watching this, doing a version of this in 20CV or S35VN or something that's more of an EDC folder steel would be fantastic. I think having now had this in hand and gotten a look at it, if this was in I would happily pay whatever, over $100 for this knife in a steel that's a little more EDC specific rather than 1095. All right, in the meantime, I'm going to use this. I'm going to cut stuff with it. I'm going to see how it holds up. And perhaps, my whole apprehension about the steel choice will be completely alleviated. I'll update you on that in the full review. For now, I've got to say, beautiful knife, feels great in hand, and I look forward to getting to spend some time with this. Let me know your thoughts down below. Maybe I'm completely off base. Maybe you're like, Kevin, what are you talking about? The 1095 is great. I'm going to use this in the bush and stuff like that. And if that's the case, that's a different thing altogether. So there you go. By the way, this may be, I know I'm ranting, I'm kind of off the trail a little bit here, but I don't know about any other Kizers in 1095. Am I crazy? Is this the first one? Kind of an interesting development if that's the case. All right, there you go, guys. Very impressive knife. Check the links in the description box below. Let me know how you feel about this knife. We will talk to you soon.